Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Pakistan Experience. We have somehow reached 11 and we have two of the most fit individuals in this city to discuss fitness today. Nusrat, hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank
and
you.
Parishae,
Hi.
who's looking somber and thinking about things. What's on your mind, Parishae?
The traffic.
Road safety, please make sure you get out
Seatbelts.
in time so that you don't have to race your way to the
It's
studio.
not the race, it's the fact that, people in Pakistan around this time get a little antsy on the road.
For people who don't know, Nusrat is the founder of the 42-Day Challenge and Parishae is the managing director at
Did you practice this?
Shapar Limited, am I saying?
Shapar.
Shapar Limited,
Yeah.
which is the holding company of Humad
wow.
Adnan, Amir Adnan, Funk Asia and Craft Stories. Yes?
Yes. Thank you for rehearsing that in front of a mirror this morning.
I got schooled on the WhatsApp group. This is who I am. But ye hota hai, Parishae, does that happen at work where people assume you're young?
I'm young.
But you are, but you're managing such a big company.
I know, it happens all the time.
So people do people like
Yeah.
brush you aside thinking, oh, it's
Absolutely not when they realize that, I'm actually worked really hard to be in the position that I'm in.
So how did you manage that? Like making sure people much older than you realize, oh, I'm here because I know what I'm doing.
By making the company money.
So it's just work.
Realistically,
It's
just that. It's like, okay, well, if she took 9 out of 12 good decisions, then clearly she knows what she's talking about, right? And doing that consistently for 3.5 years, you kind of, then, people start respecting you for that and not boss ki beti.
हाँ, because
Yeah.
ये भी तो
ये
एक
भी
factor
है।
है
ये
ना
भी
कि a
एक
lot
बहुत
of times
बड़ा
I
factor है।
think people assume कि हाँ nepotism है, but you have to work even harder.
You have to work even harder, yeah, exactly.
Because if you screw up once, people will be like, देखा
yeah, basically.
देखा ये तो
Yeah.
सिर्फ इसलिए है क्योंकि ये बॉस की बेटी है, not because
Happens a lot, yeah.
yeah, and you also take it very seriously. That's a thought.
Yeah, but but you see, that's conscious. You have to do that because, if you look at her lifestyle or my lifestyle, you know that we're not just fucking around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you
we,
can't.
we take this seriously.
Yeah, and so do you. When you're talking about your work and your shows, and when I see you talking about meetings and okay, let's do this idea. It's not just up in the air, in the clouds. Let's just talk about this and never actually execute it.
Yeah.
But you do.
So this podcast has been in the works for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when I first spoke to you about it.
A year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And Parishae was one of my first guests when I was like, if I do a podcast, I have to get Parishae on. For people who don't follow Nusrat and Parishae on Instagram, do that right now because they're super inspirational. Looking at me, you don't think आप देख के नहीं आपको लगेगा मैं जिम जाता हूँ, but I got off my ass because of you two. I was like, no.
Did you really?
Yeah. I told you this. I think we had this discussion.
Yeah. We did.
Yeah.
And then you went to Shreds.
Yes, your gym. उसकी भी हमने free advertisement कर दिया.
Oh, sorry.
हमने
Just beep it all out.
But your story, your epiphany was very inspirational. Do you want to
What
share
epiphany?
that? One day you were sitting ordering KFC and you were like, no, bus khatam.
Okay, yeah. So in life, you have multiple epiphanies at multiple different points in your life, right? Depending on where you are. And I think that's just kind of human nature to do that, right? So with me, you get to a point where you're really fit and then you go down the drain and, that cycle that just keeps repeating itself with the waking up late and partying too late and then, just everything is just late and then you're just perpetually exhausted, because life is riding you versus you riding life. I don't know if that makes any sense, So you're just going with it.
Yeah.
As opposed to being okay, this is my space also. I have a say in this, right? So it was one of those moments. And it was just to the point where I was just not feeling great about myself. And I had ordered I think my 31st Mighty Singer in a row, just sitting there and I'm just
मैं क्या कर रही हूँ?
Yeah, essentially. Who am I? And you have that realization. You're okay, tomorrow is Monday. I'm going to get my shit together.
So what's the first thing you did to get your shit together? Did you just walk into a gym?
No, actually I was going to post today about this thing I was thinking about. At work we're implementing this thing called an ERP, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that you kind of, what it's taught me is that without prerequisites, you get nowhere. right? So Nusrat believes in a very like Monday, it's Monday morning, right? Like that's where it all begins. You know this.
I love Monday.
Yeah, she loves Monday. And there's a reason for that, right? Because you think, okay, Monday is like a psychological start point where we
Yeah.
want to start. But if you don't have your shit together by Saturday and Sunday, or at least know in your mind what you need to get done, your Monday is going to start off like a Sunday. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you need to get your meal preps done. You want to go do your groceries. You want to get all the other things out of the way so that Monday morning when it actually comes, you're like, okay, I have this meeting, and I'm ready.
It's also a frame of mind, right? Nusrat?
Yeah.
So like if you do wake up Monday and you're like, oh, it's Monday, it's the start, I'm top of things. So waking up with that attitude as opposed to, oh shit, it's Monday, life sucks.
And okay, so different things work for different people,
Yeah.
right? People set goals differently. This works for most people. Having a structured, right? So your week is structured, then you know like 7 days, and then the last day of your week, which is Sunday, is like your rest day automatically. It's what you've been brought up like. So because you've been brought up thinking like Monday is like, you know, the start of your week, then if you set a goal for Monday, then you know that you have like, for me, I do
Yeah.
weekly cycles, right? So then I know, say, Monday to Saturday is like work, and then Sunday's a rest day, and then again Monday, another cycle. So for me, that kind of like really sets me like a direct path. So I'm like, okay, fine. If I'm going to make a change, then I'm going to try to fit everything that needs to be fit, like structured around that change, like Parishae said a few days before, so that I'm good to go then on Monday.
Yeah.
So
You know,
this
I'm not
might be
unprepared.
this might be chicken and the egg, but are you too into fitness because that's how your mind works, or did you guys get into fitness and then realize,
I don't think there's a correlation between the way that you primarily think and fitness. you
no,
know?
but it's I think having a structured fitness goal or going to the gym also trains your mind to
I mean,
apply those
discipline,
things to
where
other
discipline
things.
is concerned.
Yes. So
Yeah.
people who might think, oh, that's not how mind works, we're not disciplined. Can they go to the gym and get into a fitness regime, and then that helps their other life
So
plans
that-
as well?
The reason the challenge is called 42, there's a reason behind that.
Ji, bataye na.
So
Please.
it's like 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Basically, and it takes you about 40 days to make and break a habit. So we try and use that as a cycle to get you like in. But where the question is of like whether building a structure helps you in life or whether fitness helps you in life, there should be no separation between fitness and life and movement and life. And
Yeah.
like, what is this weird new age sitting around thing we do and wearing so many clothes, not touching the ground, like not feeling things, not moving, you know?
Yeah.
It's really weird way to live, and it's very recent, and our bodies are not used to this. We're not like, we haven't evolved to accept
nothing.
this.
Yeah.
That's why like everything is messed up. You're sitting too long, your posture's messed up, you got carpal tunnel, you're putting on weight, you're feeling like you're sitting, your different hormones are being released, so you are getting depressed, you are getting anxious, like because you're compressed in a different way. So it's completely unnatural. So you need to move.
Which is why I've
And
got
that's
a
where-
squatty potty, because
What
I've
is a
realized
squatty potty?
you don't know.
No,
So-
but I will now.
So it turns out the natural way to shit is the Indian toilet,
Yeah, absolutely.
but we can't
Not
use
for
it
me.
anymore because we're
Not
not
for
used to,
me.
which is why the squatty potty exists.
I mean, if
It gives you the comfort of a Western toilet with the science of the Indian toilet.
Is it a very low like?
It's like a stool that you can put your legs on while you're sitting on the Western toilet, so that आपका जो colon है that gets
All
into
of this
the
seems very unnecessary to me.
science,
Science.
like into
As in
Can't
the
argue
way-
with that.
Yeah.
The way you're positioned, like the way your bum is positioned.
the
and
way the Western toilet
No,
is.
it's- yeah.
It. Parishae.
The-
The way
okay,
it
Back
so
me up.
no,
The-
so I know what you're talking about
Yes.
because I saw that diagram.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So where does it poop? Large or small intestine?
Large.
Large.
Parishae.
Okay, so my bad. Okay, but whatever.
One
the
or two.
intestine.
Kya
Whatever
hota hai? One or
intestine.
two.
Okay. So the intestine gets directly in line with your colon.
With your colon. Okay,
And
okay, right,
That's
right.
where
Okay,
it's
okay.
coming
The
from.
dynamics of
Yes,
that
the
makes sense.
dynamics of
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So literally the first day I went into yoga, they were like, "Oh, you're just doing a couple of things wrong. It's standing up and breathing." I was like, "To
And you
bacha
gotta shit
kya
this
hai?"
way.
I was like, "Bacha kya hai phir?" Yeah, they were like, "Become a downward dog
Yeah.
and an upward dog." So
Oh yeah, yoga. yoga is another thing.
Just
Changes
simple
lives.
things, right? Like
Yeah.
breathing. Oh, you're not breathing right. I'm like,
Yeah.
अच्छा मैंने कभी नहीं
Breathing
सोचा
is
इस बारे में.
so special.
It
breathing
is
so
It's so
important.
essential.
So I fully like appreciate and love yoga. And when I come across a yogi, I'm floored at all times, like every time. Anyone says they've done yoga once in their life, and I'm like,
You.
yeah.
Teach me
So-
your ways.
Yeah, basically, because that mind body like connect,
Yes.
to slow down for me is very important because I move fast.
Yeah.
So
you
yeah.
think fast.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, how have you done this?
Yeah.
How have you found it within yourself to just calm down? But where breathing is super important, and there's a lot of focus on breathing in terms of healing and yoga and all of this. When I look at it in terms of like fitness and just like oxygen and oxygen consumption and how your oxygen is being utilized when you're working out, if I just start from there, breathing is already important. And then all the other holistic things that breathing is doing for you. So for me, I am working towards like focusing on where I'm breathing in from, where I'm breathing out from, how I'm breathing when I'm doing a movement, getting in a movement, getting out of a movement, and then probably going to move into like breathing through this. So like you said, fitness is bringing this into my life.
Yes.
I'm thinking about it in terms of performance, and I'm like, oh, if I breathe this,
Yeah, that's what they say. When you contract, you breathe. Like you breathe and
Yeah.
breathe. That's the whole point.
Yeah,
right?
so the point of drawing that binary was not to say there is a binary, but to maybe speak to the audiences who are like, nahi, main gym se dole shole nahi." That it's not just that. It's not.
It can be. If
It
that's
can
what
be,
you
yeah.
like.
It
It
can
depends on
be
your
if what you
objective,
want,
I
but
guess.
but don't not go to the gym because you think it is just that.
It is definitely not that. It's definitely way deeper than that.
Yeah.
But if that's what gets you there, just like there's several reasons we pursue things. There's lots of like egoistic reasons.
This
do
is vanity
things.
also.
Yeah.
Like vanity primarily, I mean, you could look
And
at
there's
it.
nothing wrong with
Which
that.
is
That's
all
not-
right.
not- yeah,
Which is
absolutely.
all right. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
live your
That's
best
no
life.
what I mean. I don't mean it in a negative context.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just mean like that is one of the biggest drawers for people to the gym,
And if you're not vain to a certain extent,
Yeah.
and you have no integrity, which is where it comes from,
Yeah.
then
Basically.
then you can't really be of any help to anyone. So you have to build yourself up to be of service to someone else. Otherwise, it's not a virtue.
ये बहुत deep हो गया है. ये
get
मैं
it.
I see why
Every
you
teaching
this is
podcast
why
which
you
you
meet
do.
yogis and you're like
Yeah,
I
floored.
get ये जो दलाई लामा insight मिल
Oh
रही
my
है मुझे
God.
यहाँ पर. So in
But we
term-
love good teachers, right? That's the thing. Like,
Dalai Lama
if
has
you
come
want,
up so
if you
much.
want to be a good teacher, then you have to be around good teachers, because you're delivering something. It's not about you. It's like the least about you after you. So you have to build your character up and become this person, and then you're just giving after that. So you have to learn like from the best to be able to like deliver.
the flip side of the vanity argument is there's a lot of discussion about body shaming online these days.
I mean, I started because of insecurities, not because of health.
Um,
The gym.
like body image
Yeah.
issues.
Absolutely.
Did you feel uncomfortable? Did that thought cross your mind that I don't have a six pack? If I walk into the gym, people might think.
Yeah,
make
it kept
fun-
me away for like a good 2 months or something. I mean, no, but you see, I didn't start with the gym. I started with just sports. Because I was like, okay, I just need to move, right?
Yeah.
If I don't know the first thing about the gym, at least I know how to play cricket in the gully or, whatever.
Did you start with playing cricket in the gully?
Yeah, I played cricket for Sindh, dude. I played softball also. But this is school times, though. This is school times. It's not beyond that. And then once you get out of that and you kind of have to get your, other things kind of start taking priority, like your family, your responsibilities, getting a job, a career, whatever, then you have less and less time to dedicate to that thing, right?
Yeah.
But the gym worked perfectly because I didn't need to take out 7 hours a day to
It's
go.
not a sport.
It's not a sport. There's that debate
different
also. Yeah.
No, it's a different kind
It's a
of
different,
training.
it's a different kind of training.
Yeah. But then if you become involved in it entirely and you're
Absolutely.
like, oh,
then it can be.
I want to be like a
Yeah.
I mean, you can
Yeah.
do it professionally.
competition,
Yeah.
whatever people do.
Yeah.
You can do, but you can also
But I
just
mean,
get a
even
good
with
workout
sports,
in.
right? I
Yeah.
can play
Yeah.
cricket without
No, but if you play
thinking
cricket
I'm
for
gonna
half an
become.
hour,
Yeah.
you're not going to burn so
Yeah.
many calories if you're in the gym for half an hour. If you're doing a routine Parishae does in the gym for half an hour and are playing cricket for half an hour, you're not going to burn the same calories.
Yeah.
So
I
if she wants to get a workout in, then she can't be playing cricket for half an hour.
I think the thing is sometimes
That's why
people-
you need more time for it.
That's what she's saying.
That's what
why
I
she
mean.
needs 7 hours.
Sometimes people look at people
Yeah.
who are trainers or who promote this lifestyle and think,
That's all they do?
no,
Oh.
then think, oh, this is not us. these are like some aliens who've reached this
You get that
perfection,
thought?
and I can't be this person. So listening to you guys being like, yeah, just get out and move, maybe.
You don't need to be this person.
You don't need
Yeah.
to, yeah.
First of all.
But
You
even
can
even
be any
that person is
version.
attainable. It's just work.
That exactly. So the difference between where you are and where you will be is how much work you put in.
Yeah.
If you're going to put that work into multimedia, if you're going to put that work
Yeah.
into banking, if you're going to, so now if I look at like the most successful like banker out there, and I'm like, oh shit. I mean, fine. If I like go and get another degree and then go and put all those hours in and do those internships and sit and dedicate, then I can also be this banker, and it's not unattainable.
Yeah.
But then, do I want to do that? Maybe I just want to do my own accounts, and I should study a little bit about I don't know. So for people who are looking at fitness, they don't have to look at the end all of it and be like,
Yeah.
oh, if I can't get there, there's no point in trying anything.
Yeah.
If I can't become a banker, there's no point in learning about my own accounts.
Yeah.
Do
So
you know what I
on
mean?
that's on the vanity point, na, कि ठीक है, if you want a six pack, if you want dole shole, that's great.
That's a personal goal.
That's good. But you can maybe just go to the gym because you're like, maybe I need some more discipline in my life. Maybe I need an hour away from everything else. If
Yeah.
nothing else, it's like, okay, my
Yeah.
phone's shut.
Yeah.
My focus right now is I need to do these
See, if
20
we
reps.
establish that how we live now is very distant from nature and
Yeah.
how we are meant to live, once we
Yeah.
just know this, then we'll do any little like thing to
Thing
try
to
and get
kinda, yeah.
closer. And then that's enough, because the world is also changing and we just need a little bit from the past. Now we don't need to go and start like living by a canal and hunting and gathering. We probably don't need to do that
Honestly, I've
anymore.
come to a point in my
Sure,
life
maybe.
where I look at people in Hunza and I'm like, ये सही रह रहे हैं. हम idiots हैं.
Yeah, but when the
People-
human mind evolves, and you can't unlearn the internet now. You can't give someone internet and now unlearn it and then go live in the mountains.
But you wouldn't want to do that anyways, otherwise you'd be
Yeah.
obsolete.
But it's almost like your phone, right? Yes, you'll use it every day, but you'll put it on charge at night. So we also need like an hour or two of recharging where
Yes.
this anxiety driving thing is not in our pocket.
But
We're
that's
not
sleep.
looking at it.
Yeah.
Sleep doesn't do that,
You know,
yeah.
we don't have to think of it like as anxiety inducing as we make it for ourselves also. Like we're trying to keep up with things a lot. And we don't have to do that just because we have a phone or an internet account or
Huh.
you don't have to make it the bane of your existence. It can be a reflection of your time.
But it just goes back to what Parisha was saying, right? Either you're going with the flow or you're deciding where the flow is. Sure, use social media. But if you find yourself incessantly checking your Instagram every second,
yeah.
maybe get an app that
Turn your
controls.
notifications off
Yeah.
and check
That
when you
is-
feel like.
Yeah.
I cannot prescribe this enough. Turn your notifications
yeah,
off.
Yeah, all my
absolutely.
notifications.
Yeah.
Nothing is
Phones are silent. like-
nothing essential is happening on Instagram. There is no emergency which will happen on Instagram.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this. So I made a post about body shaming, and I think maybe the caption wasn't worded right. The caption was "थोड़ी बहुत body shaming कर लेनी चाहिए." But what I was trying to say was a lot of things which get categorized in body shaming is not body shaming. You
Right.
cannot shut down a conversation about obesity being unhealthy because you're like, oh no,
Yeah.
no. Yes, everybody
Yeah.
should feel absolutely beautiful the way they look,
Yes.
but you can tell your friends to be more healthy.
Yes, you cannot ignore the truth. I mean, okay, so yes, if we're going into what is the definition of beauty, why is like if I'm looking at something beautiful and there's someone else from like China and someone from Africa and we're all looking at this one thing and say there's 5 things and we all pick one and the same thing is beautiful to all of us even though we're from completely different cultures. What is that one thing? Symmetry, right? Symmetry is a reflection of health. If you're unhealthy and you have deformities and there's a lack of symmetry, then you're not as attractive to your mate because you won't give them as strong a child. That's how we draw the connection of what is beautiful. So if we're looking at health and we're looking at vanity and we're looking at body shaming, then we do again have to understand that the way we live is unnatural and that's not anyone's fault. So we
Yeah.
need to like be very careful with the way we talk about it. We need to understand that it's not our lifestyle, it's the lifestyle also of our parents and their mindset and the lifestyle of their parents. We're talking about the only healthy person I knew was my great grandmother. Then my grandmother was quite unhealthy, she had diabetes. Then my father's generation has had multiple bypasses. And then there's now me. But my great grandmother, back then they ate quite naturally. They didn't have obesity-related problems. So our problems have started from generations before us. So when we're dealing with a person now, we have to understand that this is, to a large extent, not within their control. they are set up for failure.
Yeah.
Now everything they do is a battle. We're all dealing with food addiction. None of us should have had fries. None of us should have had Coke.
I love fries.
Zero.
I love
None of us
Coke.
should have had Cerelac. None of us should have been exposed to sugar. It's a drug.
I'm on a no sugar October. It's my
Good
5th
for
day.
you.
How are you
where I-
feeling?
Actually, not that bad.
Okay.
Actually, not that bad. At
Yeah.
like 8 p.m., I don't get an artificial mood spike.
Yeah.
And then I sleep. Like, I'll crash. By 11, 12, I'm like, can I just sleep, please?
Yeah.
All your cycles are on point.
Yeah.
All my
Yeah.
cycles are
Because
on.
so see now we know sugar is a drug. Yes.
Yes.
We know this. Yeah.
Yes.
Now we give
And
sugar.
there's processed sugar in everything.
And now there's sugar in your food you're giving your baby. Your baby is born in a haze of sugar. Now your baby is getting more sugar. There's Milo happening. There's like
Milo.
there's
हमने
like I don't know Horlicks
सारी हमारी
happening.
sponsorships खत्म कर दी, cancel कर दी, possible.
And probably some of my own also.
No, I used to have Milo every day, and now
Yeah.
I've kicked that habit
Yeah.
out.
And then there's chips and burgers and drinks and biscuits. Everybody loves giving their baby a biscuit to shut the baby up, right? So like your baby's cranky, give your baby a biscuit.
Yeah.
You
Baby
know,
biscuit.
are you going to buy your baby a beer? Probably not. But you just gave your baby a biscuit.
I'm hearing you, Nusrat, but in
Are
my
you
head I'm
feeling
like,
me?
baby biscuits would be a great product.
They
If we
are.
launch that,
They're-
but is there a brand called Baby Biscuits?
There should be
I'm
now.
There
pretty
should be
sure.
now.
There should
I
be.
would totally
We're
buy
just gonna
baby
get some-
biscuits for my
Gonna
baby.
get some baby biscuits. So yeah, so what I was saying is that you're bringing up your child now in this like haze of sugar, and your child is now dependent on all these things, and it's showing on their body, it's showing in their performance, it's showing in terms of like their intellectual performance as well. And then someone goes and body shames them.
Yeah.
I mean, what's more ignorant than that, you know?
Like it's not thy fault.
Yeah. Now this other person is in this haze of confusion now after this haze of sugar, and they're like. They do understand that a lot of this is not their fault because they're living it. They're trying to rid themselves
Yeah.
of it. Now,
But even unconsciously, you're right.
yeah, there's a lot. Most people currently now are in a process of changing their lives because there is enough information out there. And the kind of people that are on the internet that you and I are interacting with that are getting affected by this body shaming are in a process of trying to improve their lives. And a lot of them are just banging against a wall. And they don't get the assistance they need and they don't get the help they need. And then someone says something about them and it feels really bad. So maybe that's what you were dealing with in terms of your post.
I do agree. This friend of mine, I now also made a mental health support group for
Yeah.
people. And she made a post. She said, for 3-4 years now, I've had an undiagnosed illness. So I put on weight. And doctors also have no idea what actually is happening. So she's like, when people come to me and ask,
Do they know? Does she know currently?
does she what?
Does she know what it is right now?
No.
Oh, can I talk to her?
Sure. I'll put you in touch.
Okay, nice.
But when people come up to her and they're like, oh, listen, you've put on weight, she's like, it's not like I can't see it. I can't do anything about it. So I think when people like this who are either struggling with their mental health or have actual health issues, I think when they're called out for being fat or being, because there's also that trope, right? Fat is lazy. That becomes really problematic.
Yeah. And, we have to be more intelligent about the way we deal with matters. Sometimes being fat is lazy. You see? Sometimes it is. A lot of the time. And sometimes it isn't. So we have to be intelligent with the way we're talking to people. We can't just use umbrella terms. We're evolved now as human beings.
Yeah.
We can't be talking like this. We can't use an umbrella term and fit everyone in it. We have to be intelligent about our discussion. We have to all be aware and on the same page. Like, guys, this is what's up. Some people have some health problems. Some people have some motivational problems. Now, whether those motivational problems are inherent in their own personality and they need to work on themselves, yes, this also exists. It's very easy to procrastinate. That is also part of the human condition. When you don't exercise your mind, you will go into a lull.
It's that discipline thing.
और हमारा उर्वा ना हो जाए, बट वो जो था कि जी मेंटल हेल्थ कुछ नहीं होता, बस आप जिम जाएं और खाना खाएं.
No, just like some people have cancer.
Yes.
Some people have depression.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, whether that's inherited or lifestyle induced, that's a different conversation. But it is a cancer. Just like people have diabetes, they have anxiety. You can't see it, but you can feel it. They can feel it. And it does feel like death is imminent. Depression will take people down slopes that you wouldn't imagine this person to be in.
Been there, done that.
So mental health, your brain is a part of your body.
Absolutely.
It's not like a different thing. It's not detached from your physical.
Yeah. Beyond the illnesses, fitness does help in general people's mental health.
Oh,
Generally.
like nothing else. Fitness, like running, for example, will do the same to you
Endorphin high.
as an antidepressant without the side effects. You know, so I mean, a half an hour movement a day. That's what I suggest to people. A half an hour of good movement, aggressive movement,
Yeah.
to get the juices.
You can also
moving.
hack your body. So, like, I was looking at the science. Part of it is your body thinks it's being chased by an animal when you're running,
Mhm.
and it starts excreting protective enzymes within you
But at the same time, it also secretes serotonin,
yeah.
dopamine.
because it feels like you're terrified and running, because it's like, why else would you run?
No, but that's
There's
what differs
probably
us.
a saber-tooth tiger chasing you right
yeah,
now.
but I don't know if you watched that like documentary, but it's like
Which one?
that's what differs us from animals, is that we, you know, when we're
excitement from
the flight, fight or
or
flight,
flight.
yeah, and our brains do secrete these chemicals, which we would not be acting solely and wholly out of fear. It's more also like other endorphins. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably like both things.
Yeah.
You know, like for some like people maybe they are releasing those ones in which they're running away from things.
Yeah.
But it's not just your brain, right? It's everywhere. Like when you're running, because I mean,
Nothing else would secrete much else except, in terms of
in
chemicals.
terms of even healing you at a cellular level, fitness helps. Obviously, a lot of this is
Fitness
research,
and,
which
and nutrition. I mean, it's mostly nutrition
Yeah.
that's going
Yeah.
to heal you, and fitness is going to do other things like keep your muscle in tone,
Yeah.
keep your movement in check.
But I don't think fitness itself is regenerative. I think that's
No.
your own body that's doing that.
there's a Joe Rogan podcast with this guy who's doing this research. I'll send that over to you.
Okay.
Everything
this
Joe
is
Rogan
a-
says, I believe.
Not
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, but this the guy who came on. He's 55. He looks
Yes.
25,
Yes,
and he's
I've
doing
seen
this anti-aging
I've
research.
seen this.
None of it is
Wow.
FDA
Yeah.
approved
He's
and
also
mainstream
taking
right now.
metformin.
Which is
He's
what?
taking metformin, which is what women take to control their sugar. And it seems to be helping. In anti-aging.
He's experimenting everything
Yeah.
on himself, and
Yeah.
he's like, I
He
can't
doesn't work
say it out
out.
loud.
He works out 1 hour a
Barely.
week.
Yeah.
Joe is not happy with this.
Yeah.
Neither am I. but
Joe.
but he's a different sort of. He's a scientist.
Yeah.
Not an athlete. So of course he's looking at this problem completely differently and enhancing his body completely differently with chemicals. And we're looking at natural chemical enhancement from food and movement. So yes, it does change the chemical balance in your body. But again, if you're looking at the ratio, the way you eat is definitely going to change the way your cells function. Where fasting
Even
comes
how
in.
you feel like feeling better about yourself, like
Yeah,
that
for
also.
sure. And fasting is the thing that's going to heal you
Is
possibly.
this intermittent fasting?
You can even go on a prolonged fast. As in, people will, if they want to cure something, go on 3 days, 5 days, 1 week, 10 days.
And your
The
body
longer-
just takes care
your
of
body
itself.
just regenerates. Like, we undermine entirely how your body can heal itself.
Mm.
But you have to stop putting shit into it, any sort of anything, and just allow it to regenerate. And that happens. So autoimmune diseases that people are dealing with.
I'm also on a cleanse on other things in Sober October because
Yeah.
I'm like, my body needs a
like
month of
Ramzan,
nothing.
right? Like how much healing is going on in Ramzan.
But हम उसका गलत इस्तेमाल करते हैं ना. We actually put in more junk fried food
Yeah.
within us.
But some people don't, and then those people heal.
Yeah.
As in, see, if you're fasting and you're not like talking smack all day and cussing at people and angry, that's great for your mood. You know,
Yeah.
if you're not exploding and if you're doing the Ramzan like situation, like, you know, and you're like praying and you're getting that movement and then you're eating clean, you're not meant to like be like just all over the place. You know, you're not meant to eat all these fancy things. Just meant to eat a little bit of something decent and something restrictive because, you know, you're in a month of perseverance. So when that happens and you are on this like cycle of cleansing, you do cleanse. You feel that change in your body. You drop a bunch of body fat. I've seen people drop a bunch of body fat in Ramzan, like the ones who I'm training, for example, who'll fast all day and then come do a little bit.
But
of
then they'll
workout.
also like follow your routine, right? That's why it's primarily
It's
your
clean, yeah.
diet. Yeah.
I think people who are even religious listening to this, आप अगर इस्लाम को भी देख लें, it's like 5 times a day move. So sure, it's not yoga, but it's
Oh, but
like
you're-
yoga.
You're touching the ground
Yes.
5 times a day, multiple times, and surrendering to something much larger than you.
Even physically, you're moving. You're
And some people need to wash themselves 5 times a day for sure. I'm like, you just go and cleanse. that's the first stage.
Wuzu karke aa jao.
Yeah.
Some people look like they need to wash their face 5 times a day.
And then some people don't need to do all this wuzuing so many times a
But
day.
even if the physical act, it's also the mental part, right? You're just focused on praying. You're not worried about what will happen in your meeting for those 5-10 minutes even.
Yeah.
So you've moved. So even with
Yeah,
Ramzan,
yeah, you're reconnecting.
physically even you have all those hours where you're not eating. You're allowing your body. So the idea is not to do a super lavish iftar
Yeah.
that just puts you to sleep. I know so many people who just sleep after iftar because of the food they've
Yeah.
eaten.
Yeah, and stay up all night.
Yeah. Have
Until
sehri
sehri.
and then sleep.
And eat some like really terrible sehri, and then sleep, and then or maybe go to work for a few hours. I mean, what you could do, because you do have a half day in Ramzan, is take that time to reconnect and work on yourself. Maybe study something, maybe read something, maybe learn a game, a sport, a hobby, something like that. Instead of shutting yourself out from the day, because when you're in that state of fasting, your mind should be quick.
So when you say prolonged fast, do you mean not eating anything for a couple of days?
Yes, and there's a couple of ways to do it. You can
Okay.
do it with water. You can do it with caffeine also. So some people, depending on what you're trying to heal and where you are in terms of how much you've grown and how much your body can take, you're not going to, off the cuff, just do a 5-day fast. No, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow. I might train myself into it. So maybe a 1 day, 48 hours, then 3 days and something like that. And then you can take it as far as you can take. So you'll get a period in the beginning where you're hungry, and then you'll stabilize. And then when your second hunger comes, you're to eat.
So for somebody who's listening who just wants to start, you'd suggest a 24-hour fast just to try it
I
out.
would suggest, yes, a 24-hour fast. Maybe do it with water. Maybe do it with some coffee and green tea and stuff like that. See how you feel. And then only eat enough once you're done. And only healthy. So you're not going to then down a burger. You're going to probably have some brown rice, have some like protein, maybe have some nuts, wait a bit. Always when you're eating, I would suggest everyone, after you've done having like your portion, wait 5 minutes. You will always start getting full because your body starts to like then metabolize and digest. So don't just eat a whole bunch. Eat a little bit, chill, see if you're still hungry, and then eat a little more. So if you're getting into this fasting thing, read up on it. It's very, very beneficial based on whatever problem you're trying to deal with. Start with the 1 day fast and take it up 48 hours, take it 3 days, 7 days, whatever floats your boat. And know that your body has been through thousands and thousands and thousands of years of evolution and things trying to kill it. And you, on a 3-day fast, are not going to kill it. Let me assure you.
So Parishae, what would you suggest to somebody? Because I also find your Instagram very inspirational and it's helped me. So you were talking about eating mighty zingers every day, and now you meal prep. You make sure your meals are healthy. How does one make that switch? What do you say to somebody who wants to make that switch?
I don't think you can say anything to anyone. I think it has to come from inside. Like, it's the same thing. I don't know, people were like, it could be equivalent. I'm not saying that, smoking addiction is the same as, an unhealthy life. You know what I mean? But it's similar, because you cannot tell somebody who's addicted to smoking to stop smoking unless they're doing it out of guilt and they stop, or it comes from within and they're like, one day they're like, okay, cold turkey, I don't want to do this anymore. It's kind of the same.
And it has to be cold turkey though, right?
So it depends from person to person, I would think. Like, for me, taking it step by step and kind of, going in it aista aista, I know I'm not gonna be able to sustain that. For me, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, it was like, okay, let's make little changes in my life, no soda, theek hai. But at this point, I know it's either I start with 100% meal prepping Monday, or I just don't.
Yeah.
And then I'll eat anything and everything.
I'm very similar. I'm very 0 to 100.
I'm just bhati, na, so it's just kind of.
नहीं मैं तो bipolar हूँ ना, तो इसलिए मेरे तो ज़्यादा
so
extreme मसले हैं.
Depends on your personality, but
As
there are people like, you know, I don't know, like you're doing no sugar October.
Yes.
You know, so that's a little step that you're taking, which is actually going to be very beneficial in the long run. That's great.
But it had to be a no sugar, right?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't have been like no sodas because फिर वो sugar
Because-
cravings रहती.
Yeah.
So I'm not even doing sugar substitutes. A lot of people are suggesting do sugar substitutes, but I'm like, it will
Yeah,
hit
it's the
your brain
same.
the same
It's the
way.
same way, yeah,
It
yeah,
will
it's
still
just
make you
sweetener.
crave sugar.
You're on a mission. Like,
Yeah, I'm on a mission to stop the craving, not
yeah.
stop taking sugar for a month.
If you thoda exposed, then you'll keep, you know. But if you're completely unexposed to it, then you'll eradicate the addiction. And then, my God, you have an apple after this, you're going to get high. After this
ये
1
तो फिर
month.
बहुत फायदा है,
Yeah,
ये तो
just
ऐसा
like that. Or like a spoon of honey, you're going to be like, your brain is just going to be like fusing.
But
You'll see it.
I've already started noticing how much I was artificially spiking my brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
My brain is now and it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't have to be peppy all the time.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
I can,
You need nothing unnatural. No uppers.
and
Yeah.
I crash sleep. Literally, like by midnight, I'm done,
Yeah.
and my eye opens at 8 a.m. I have like a
Beautiful.
solid block of sleep.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I don't wake up in the
Yeah.
middle.
That for healing, by the way.
Sleep.
By the way. If you can get 8 hours, most
Yeah,
people
that's what I was saying to you. It's like, I mean, understandable, okay, you know, people have different reasons why they cannot sleep or they sleep too much. You know, I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about just sleep within itself. It's so helpful. Like,
gotta
you need
sleep,
it.
You got to dream.
Yeah. She's right.
आप कब योगी बन रही हैं? मैं cult शुरू कर रहा हूँ. I think ये podcast तो should be like a Terence McKenna type of all
But
of you need
like,
to.
yeah, you gotta sleep and you gotta
reconnect
dream, then
and
you gotta
dream.
stop dreaming and get back to reality. Because if you look, when you're learning something, right? For example, you do a bit like I practice, then I sleep, then I wake up and I know
You know
this
that.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need it.
Your body forms all your pathways
You
when
need to
you're
watch
sleeping.
this documentary.
Which
There's
one?
a series of documentaries on Netflix.
Called The Mind Explained.
Please watch it.
I love The Mind
So
Explained.
उसमें ये सारी चीजें तो
haven't seen
हैं.
this.
Literally, you need to watch this.
I'm
also.
not a Netflixy.
So
I'm a YouTubey.
It's 15 minute episodes.
बहुत
Oh,
अच्छी
yeah, so
हैं.
you give me links.
There's sort of
Okay.
like TED-Ed. If anybody's
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
TED-Ed
yeah,
videos,
yeah,
उस तरह की
yeah.
होती हैं. There's
it
There's
is.
one on psychedelics, which I love what they
Yes,
said.
yes.
Not that we're prescribing psychedelics to
But
anybody.
probably not.
How it's not regenerative, but it allows you to open new pathways. In
So
your
the
brain.
way they
That's
explained
amazing.
it was, your brain. Think of your brain like fresh snow, and every time you take a snowmobile on it, you've built a track. Now, the next time you want to go down the same slope, you see the snowmobile tracks and you take them.
Yeah.
So they just get deeper and
So
deeper.
psychedelics sort of end up like
Yeah.
fresh snow. You're still taking a snowmobile, but you don't have tracks anymore. So you'll just form new tracks.
So you get to explore.
What a nice.
It's such a great
It's
metaphor.
it's
so,
the
it was so beautiful.
perfect
I'm going to show
analogy.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shows, like, what
Uh,
happened. Saturday night.
Trust me. Trust
yeah,
me.
psychedelics work for
Yeah.
some people. They don't work for some people.
Yeah.
Everybody needs
It
to do
also
their own
depends on
research.
What you're doing, who is in
Yeah,
control
it's
of your
even in
high.
that thing they said, Kate's environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That matters so much.
And what is
your
the-
mind frame?
What is the dose of what you're taking? Are you taking a little bit like to hang out with your friends, or are you going through a healing process and like entering a dimension and
Agar
like
aap-
trying to deal with addiction? Like,
There are things like if you
Exactly.
go
Yeah.
to South
and
America,
you can do that.
and you can do. We
Yeah.
should.
There are ayahuasca
What are we
retreats
doing in
now.
this podcast here right now?
We are just dropping LSD to show you guys what the effects are like. But होती हैं अब ayahuasca retreats हैं. You can go.
Yes.
You can work with a shaman
Yes. And
who
that's
knows what
the way
he's
you want to
doing.
do it.
Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to go with the wrong shaman.
Yeah.
you know, like,
You don't want के
Jali
Yeah,
shaman.
jali shaman.
किसी पार्टी पे बशीर is like ये ayahuasca आया हुआ है
Yeah.
5,000 रुपए का please एक
Because
टैप कर लो.
If you get stuck,
If you get stuck there,
too many
who's
Bashir
gonna take you
yeah.
out?
Shaman आपको
If
वापस
you
ले
get
आएगा.
stuck in a like in a
I don't
in
trust
the wrong
Bashir.
like, state, yeah.
Screw Bashir.
Bashir, don't call us.
Kids, stay
No.
away from Bashir.
No, actually kids be very careful. मेरी
Oh, guys, kids
काफी
need to chill out. by
मेरी
the way.
बहुत फट गई. मैं भी बीच में लाहौर गया था.
Yeah.
And everybody was doing meth and I was like, तुम लोग meth? They're like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
They're like, नहीं MDMA, LSD
Yeah.
available नहीं होती, हम बस meth करते हैं. I'm like, तुम लोग पागल हो? तुम लोग का दिमाग, तुम लोग casually meth कर रहे हो?
Listen,
So-
kids from Lahore, call us.
Please.
Bashir, don't call us. The
Don't
kids
call
need to
Bashir
get on
either.
the line. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
if you've been
Yeah.
handed out random
Yeah,
drugs at a
yeah.
party,
Why are children not smoking
please.
cigarettes anymore? What's like? I mean,
They have a
Just
juice.
Jules.
Yeah, they have
They have
Juul.
Jules, which
See,
has
when
its
we're
own
replacing
issues.
addictions as a community, we need to be careful. We need to understand that people who are growing have a lot of hormonal imbalances that they're going through. Now they're going to latch on to each other. That's why everyone falls in love and gets so involved.
Nobody fell in love with
Heartbreak, and I fell in love with everything and anyone
Me
that literally
too.
walked past me.
I swear.
Same.
Yeah, and you could wave at me from a distance. And
You.
Yeah.
So many
Scary.
heartbreaks.
because you're hormonal, right? So your hormones are just everywhere. So you're like
Yeah.
they're in your brain, they're in
Makes
your
you
body, like yeah. So we'll hang on to
I get that
anything,
feeling. This
you
person
know?
gave me attention. We're in love now.
basically. Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong in
No, but
falling
it's not
in
we're in
love.
love. It's I am in love.
नहीं
Yeah.
अच्छा मैं कॉन्फिडेंट था लाइक
Okay.
इसको भी
Yeah,
होगा
yeah.
अब तो
Yeah.
मुझे तो हो गया है मेरी प्यार की
no.
ताकत
Like,
इससे भी
For me,
मोहब्बत
it's
करता है
irrelevant whether the other person.
Can we talk about love shaming now that we're talking about
What
body
is love shaming?
I mean, love in our community, the way we were all like when we were brought up, being in a relationship was not as cool. You know, being in love, you were told that it's not your age to be in love, and don't be so dedicated to this person, and like it's not all about this. But you know, the older I get, the more I realize it is all about this.
It is.
It is all about love. So be in love, be madly in love,
Yeah.
be foolish
love
in love,
itself also
and be in love often.
regenerates your brain.
Yeah.
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 Be in love often, you know,
It
like
teaches
with
you so many things.
be in love with your friends,
Yeah,
your family, you know, relationships that you're in with the people you work with, and don't be shy of that. That's the one
Yeah.
thing we need to return
Even
to.
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
so I feel like I'm in a great headspace these days because
Yeah.
I've started saying out aloud even little things that happen to me which are good. I say it out loud. I'm like, oh, I'm so happy this
Yeah.
happened,
You accept
Yeah.
it, you know.
Yeah,
And
you
I
take
s-
ownership
yeah.
of that thing. You're like, okay,
Yeah,
and I'm telling my brain I'm happy
Yeah.
about it.
so you're
which-
riding life.
yeah.
all the way, all night long.
Maybe a little bit tonight as well.
Boy.
I'm just
I
going to
don't
put the
know what's happening.
documentary
ये
on,
edit-
guys,
edit
but we
out
don't
करते हैं
know
आप,
about
edit
it.
out
What's
करते हैं.
happening?
But it's just like, don't come to my house. Nothing I told you about not happening.
Acha, now that we've done all the good things, so for me, I was going through a depressive episode a couple of years ago. I was like super motivated. I saw David Goggins. I don't know if you know who he is. He's like a beast who runs 100 miles casually.
Beautiful.
Holds the world record for the most chin-ups, which are like
Oh.
thousands.
Okay, like such and such amount in a minute. I've heard of this.
This guy.
Like unreal.
हाँ,
Like,
पागल है.
yeah. Like,
इसने like
you can't, your head cannot accept the numbers.
in his
Yeah,
on
but
his
it's not working.
on his website
I
he
put it
has
between
the
my legs,
amount of
like most things.
100 200 miles marathons he's done in a year. So he's done like 50 100 miles marathons in a year.
50,
Like,
100?
whatever, do the math.
50,
Yeah.
100.
Okay,
5,000.
So he's just, like,
No,
running.
50.
Oh, 50,
Oh, fuck.
100.
Parishae was trying to be smart.
I was like, no, because in my
You-
brain,
you
it
dumb.
went, my brain went 5 0 0 0. And I was like,
You're doing too much math at your work
I
these
swear.
days.
No, it's a GRE. You
Oh.
genius,
What
cannot.
genius?
You.
What genius?
You. Do you remember when I started studying for the GRE and you're like, ha ha ha, ha look at me, I got a near perfect score. But like not in that way.
Not
you were
a
like,
near perfect. I got a perfect.
yeah, he did. He got a perfect score.
In
He's a
writing,
genius.
in just writing.
He's legit.
In
Wait,
just
wait,
wri-
what?
In just writing, math मेरी इतनी अच्छी नहीं है ना. I got 161 out of 170 in math.
That's really good. That's really good. So he basically got a near perfect score, which legitimizes
What the
that
fuck
he's
is a
legitimately
161 out of 170
he's-
in math.
he's
You're
a-
like a math
he's
genius.
he's
bro.
he's
I mean, I've taught
legitimately
problems.
he's
My
his
math is
IQ.
not that
You
good.
have taught math.
I've taught problem solving, so my problem solving is really good.
Jolly.
Jolly good, sir.
I love how you rallied around his jolly.
Jolly good, sir.
So you are 161 out of 170 in math.
मेरा 6 साल पुराना GRE score क्यों हो रहा है? मैं important बात ये कह रहा था कि
Sorry, yeah.
so I got
about
super
Parishae's
motivated
GRE
and I was
score.
like यही जिंदगी है. Your mind is so strong, you can just fight through the pain.
Yeah.
And I fucked my knee. So I started working out
It happens.
you
from,
don't do that.
from
It's okay
doing
to fuck your
nothing.
knee.
From doing nothing.
I'm sure you've done other things to fuck your knee as well in the past that you don't hold against.
There was
Yourself
just there was
and
just
your-
this just
and your
one
trainer.
one
Yeah, I can't.
one wild Tinder girl who wanted to fuck my knee. Other than that,
Oh.
knee fetish is a thing. Stop
What?
shaming,
Who
guys.
is coming?
Yeah. More
I
power
don't know
to
if
your
you're being
knee.
serious.
More
Of
power
course,
to-
I'm not.
Your knee has been through
Okay,
a lot.
I'm not. I would have
Thanks.
told
I'm
you.
ridiculously gullible.
I would have told
If you
you.
haven't
If
already
this has
noticed.
if
Where
this
did you
had
put your
happened,
knee?
you would have known about the story already.
I really wouldn't have. I live under a rock.
So,
That's why I
Can we
believe
discuss
everything.
this? Can we discuss this knee fetish?
I told you, we're both
Let's
the same.
discuss this knee issue. We
No
are.
one is
It's
giving
not
any
real.
attention
I've
to my
always
knees.
It's
felt-
not real.
Yeah, and
This
my
thing is
knees are
not
out
real.
there, guys. I'm putting my knees out there in the world for your knee fetish thoughts, and I'm getting nothing. My knee is fine. 29 years later. I have a few scars on my feet, but my knees are okay.
तो मैं जो कहना चाह रहा था, so
You
from
started
not
this.
doing anything, I went a little crazy.
Are we still using Tinder? Is Tinder a thing?
I thought we were
Not
on
me.
knees.
I'm not on Tinder.
Yeah?
So if anybody is,
Oh, guys,
if
I'm on
anybody
Tinder.
matches with
I'm
me,
on Tinder, and I'm looking for. I'm interested in a couple of things apparently.
which is not you, right?
No, it's Nusrat with a Z.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's not her.
Ah,
Yeah,
I
have a
just
flower
got
on my
that.
face. Yeah.
So the point of mentioning this was people
Oh, it
who
could be
jump right into this. It's not just mental will. You got to be conscious about not actually breaking stuff.
No, you can go ahead and break whatever you'd like because it will heal itself. That's another argument. But yes, when you are going to do things, you're going to attempt things with your body that are new for your body. And if you're
Yeah.
not, your muscle isn't trained to sustain the movement, right? So you're moving really fast and your muscle isn't trained or your muscle doesn't have the strength. And then your body tries and compensates and you fall or something gets hurt.
Yeah.
It happens,
That's
guys.
no, okay, that's one approach to it, but the other side of it is, again, when we come back to vanity, like for example, when I used to go to strides, right? Like, so, I'm sorry, when I used to go to my gym.
all know
I
it's
know,
right
I know.
now.
So when
Farokh
I
bhai,
used to-
please, zara paise bhijwaएं.
when I used to go to my gym, right? Like, so obviously, I have trained years and months consistently to lift a certain amount of weight.
Yeah.
Even though it's like way heavier than what I weigh, right? And my technique, my performance has been built. I've trained my mind, my body to do that, right? If you've just walked in just because you want to show off to somebody or because you are a man and somehow you need to lift more, you're not going to go in there and just do it, right? Because that is going to injure you. And I've seen people do this in front of me and I just walk up to them and be like, Khuda ke liye nahi kar.
Do they do it because of you?
I mean, it's not because of, I'm not saying it's because of me.
Nahi,
I'm
'cause-
saying,
That's
you know, you
nice
get to
thing
a
on
gym,
this.
you get to a gym.
An anecdotal thing, a tennis player Pakistani was on TV, PTV pe, and he's not even like a top ranked Pakistani. He was like, नहीं women's tennis कुछ नहीं होती, Serena Williams मेरे सामने आ जाए तो मैं इसको, and I was
What
like,
the hell? That's
तुम
ridiculous.
पाकिस्तान में कोई 20th ranked tennis player हो, so does that actually happen where people look at you and
No,
be like,
so-
ये तो लड़की है, हम लड़के हैं?
Yes, and it should
Yes,
be because we
it
are
does happen.
different.
But here's the thing. But I'm not even talking about myself. I'm just saying, you know, when young male,
Testosterone-driven.
testosterone-driven, like people, it could be a woman also, by the way, go to the gym, right? And you're surrounded by this energy and everybody's doing their own thing. You maybe sometimes get a little insecure and do something which you're not ready for, you know? And you see, okay, doing a bunch of jump squats, which is new for your body, can injure you, but because you haven't done that before, right? And you're like, oh my God, I'm introducing this amazing new thing into my life. But when you're talking about lifting, like deadlifting 100 kilos is not a joke. You can
Deadlifting in
really
general
you
is-
can really mess yourself up like that, or any kind of exercise. Like, I'm not talking about
Yeah.
body weight things. I'm talking about heavy weighted things. You know, you go to the gym, your trainer's lifting X, somebody else, and then a girl is also lifting, and you're like, okay, clearly I'm supposed to somehow be able to do this in a day. You know, it's not that hard. And you know, the best is the first day you attempt it, the adrenaline is so high that you'd be able to get it. But then the next morning when you end up at the chiropractor, you're like, oh shit, like what have I done? that's
Yeah, there's a difference in training, right?
Yeah.
So when you're putting a heavy load on your muscle and joint, like in lifting, like this, then you can't just like, you know, pop up in there and be like, give me this weight. Like
Yeah.
you will pull your like joint out of place, or you will like severely
damage yourself.
Right?
Yeah.
And then those problems with alignment are very difficult to fix, right? So, and then again, here comes in the quality of your trainer. So if you're doing something like, if you're putting a lot of load on your joints, then your trainer has to be very aware of your body and you need to be like, very connected
Yeah.
with this person,
Yes,
right?
yes.
But if you're doing like
Trust.
free weight training or you're doing movement
And you've never
oriented-
done it before. Yeah.
Oh, if you've never done it
Yeah.
before, yeah.
My God, the amount of people you
Yeah.
must have gotten. Don't you remember like people coming up like, can I take
Yeah.
Panadol
Yeah.
3 times a day because
Yeah,
I'm sore? You know, because you're not used to that
yeah.
lactic acid pill. You're not
Sore
used
to
to.
say है.
There's a
No,
difference.
but you see, you are aware, so you know that,
Yeah.
right? But people who are not
Yeah.
aware कि
Yeah.
soreness होती क्या है जब
Yeah.
ये लोग पहली दफ़ा ये चीज़ें करते हैं, right? when their body goes through that shock the next morning, you can't get out of bed. When
They
you
think they're
laugh, it
injured.
hurts. They think they're injured.
That's the difference, and people need to know this. So muscle soreness is natural. When you dance, you'll feel sore for the
Yeah.
first time, right?
That's
currently,
fine.
Yeah, when you
can't-
do
I
yoga,
can't-
you'll feel sore. No one goes to yoga class and comes back and says,
Yeah.
"Mujhe injury ho gayi."
Yeah.
Because they don't associate that.
Yeah.
So similarly in training, right? When you have, if you're to have an injury, it'll happen there, and you'll be on a stretcher, and you won't be able to make it home, right?
ऐसा होता है?
Yeah, a lot of the time when you're injured, it's happening in the process of things, right? So then you have an injury and you know there's an injury.
Like, for example, you jump
Muscle-
up, you spike the ball, you come down, you
Yeah.
twist your ankle, it's broken.
Now it's
You
there,
have
right?
to
You're
leave.
not walking home.
Yeah.
But for me, I got like a fluid built up in my knee, which eventually leaked. So it was over
Yes,
time.
that's overexposure.
Yes, that is what
Yeah,
happened.
Yeah. So now that's a different thing. That's
Yeah.
not an injury that's like imminent and
When-
immediate.
yeah.
That's a build up, and that can happen with a lot of other things.
But
like
that was because I went from doing nothing to doing too much too soon.
That's what I.
Yes,
That's
which
what I was
is
saying
what I'm
initially.
guarding people against.
Yeah. You don't have to do that. Like.
now, I don't know. In the process of things, sometimes some
Again, it
people
depends,
need to
no?
do a lot.
But it
too
depends on
soon.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, what had you started doing that made your knee like messed up?
I was doing everything right. I was working with the trainer and I was doing
No,
yoga.
but what
so
kind
it
of
was just,
exercising were you doing? Like, were you doing lifting? Were you training? Were you heavy lifting?
I wasn't heavy lifting.
What were you doing?
So wait,
I
hold
was-
on. We
yeah.
don't know anything about
Yeah.
his case.
Yeah.
Were you?
Okay.
We don't know
I'll take
anything.
later.
Yeah.
So I was going
before
to
this
the-
bubble of thing burst in your knee. What was the initial cause of it? Like, what started the whole thing?
Now that I've gotten it checked and everything, they've said you've always had an hyperextension,
Okay.
Yeah.
which I didn't even know
That's
I
what
did.
I was going to say. Maybe you're predisposed to something.
Yeah, so I didn't know I had
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
I was going to the gym. I wasn't heavy lifting. I was in heavy lifting. And then I was doing yoga. So, but
Yeah.
I was doing, and then I would go for a walk.
Because you have an hyperextension problem and you're doing yoga with the lifting, that's just a bad combination.
Really? I thought
Yeah.
yoga and...
Because you're opening up and you're doing this heavy lifting
Constriction.
thing, and
Yeah.
you've got an hyperextension.
I thought going to the yoga to do stretches after the gym was a good thing.
No.
But
Nahi?
No.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on. One moment, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So it depends on what kind of training you're doing. You don't want to be stretching too much post a workout, depending on the kind of training you're doing. It might damage you because you might have used your muscle extensively, which it's not prepared for, and then you're stretching it out. And then if
Yeah.
you're not used to yoga and you're pulling, then you are going to cause a problem. So, for example, when we do like post-workout stretches, they're very brief. You're not.
Okay.
We don't hold positions for very long that we know people are not ready for.
Yeah.
Because we've put them through an aggressive training already.
I thought stretching was great for you regardless. I thought
Again, everything
No,
is very subjective.
Not
Nahin.
always, and depending on the time. So,
Depends.
so it depends on what kind of stretching you're doing, how long you're doing it for, how much you're trained into that stretching, whether it's pre-workout, post-workout.
Stretching can injure you.
There's a large argument, yes, on stretching and in
So
terms of
what's your
muscle
recommendation?
damage.
Pre-workout or post-workout
So if you're
stretching?
doing a pre-workout stretches, you want to do dynamic stretches, which is like
Warm up your
movement.
body,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like a 1 second hold or a couple of things just to lubricate and open out. Some people don't do pre-workout stretches. You can just do like a light warm-up. When I'm training, a lot of the time, personally, I'm not doing a pre-workout stretch. I'm doing a pre-workout warm-up, which is like fast movements,
That's what I
small
do as
and
well.
fast movements. But yes, when someone is coming into a class, I will put them through a pre-workout stretch because I don't know where everyone is in their particular set of fitness. Then we'll do a workout. Then post-workout, we'll do a stretch just to ease you out of the workout. Now, when I'm personally training, I'm not always stretching because I'm at a different like level of performance. So I might not have time, for example, like 5 minutes now to be doing a thing and my body might not need it. But then again, someone coming to a class, we will
Yes,
put them
yeah.
through a stretch. Pre-workout stretches will also get your body moving. So it will aid in your calorie burn while you're working out. So if you've warmed up your body already, otherwise your first round, like for me, HIIT, 5 minutes, if I'm not warmed up for like 3 to 4 minutes, is my body just warming up. It's not me performing because your muscle is not nice and loose and warm. So you're not getting those reps in with that like movement and rotation. But if you do warm up, then you will. So there is like different reasons to warm up and then to do a post-workout stretch. But in your case, you might have been going very aggressively at the stretching post an
Maybe.
aggressive training that you shouldn't have been doing considering what you're already naturally predisposed to. Now this you only know because you've done it.
Yeah.
Now you know it. Now you're not going to do it.
But
How would you have known?
I got very discouraged and I was like, wow, this is now terrible. I can't move my knee and I have to ice it. Then I was like, fuck it, ab to ho gaya. I have to go to the doctor, get it checked. Jo bhi ab hai. अब तो हो गया है ना, अब
See,
तो मैंने कर दिया है.
how would you have known?
Let me solve it and get back on the train.
Yeah, you
So
wouldn't
people
have
who
known.
might give up after the first time, हो
Yeah.
जाते हैं
What I
मसले.
would off the cuff recommend is what Parishae is saying. That is like the one answer to this. Don't walk into a gym and put a load on your joint. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But if you're joining a class of any movement based, like you will be only able to
Yeah.
move as much as your body
And
allows you.
I also think that communication in this respect is extremely important, as it is in
Yeah.
everything, right? If you're joining, for example, like if I had an issue with, like, for example, my lower back, right? Hypothetically speaking, and if I was to say, okay, I still want to go, I want to lose weight, and I joined 42-day challenge, I would make it a point that whoever the person is who's teaching that class, I tell them beforehand, you know, it doesn't take much, it takes 2 minutes. I'd go to Nusrat and be like, hey, I have this lower back injury, but I really want to do this class. So is it like, just let me know if there's any variations of things that I can maybe adapt to my body that would suit me a little better and not injure me further. You see, so that's the whole point of having an instructor there. It's not just to guide you, but it's also to like
And your
help.
instructor can kind of identify your pain.
Mm.
So when you tell
Yeah.
your person that this is the pain, it's coming after I work out, before I work out, when I wake up in the morning, or it's there through the day, it's an acute pain, it's a chronic pain, it's over here, then your guy will check you out, then they can kind of identify what's going on.
Is there a way for people, because I think 42-day challenge was the first one, but now everybody is doing something similar.
Mashallah, thank God.
So is there any way कि somebody who's joining can check कि कोई credentials है मेरे fitness trainer के, कौन है, क्या कर रहा है, कब से कर रहा है?
So
Because there are people who are doing
Yeah.
but I'm
fitness
completely
challenges
self-taught.
who might
So
not.
even though you might give me a lot of credit for what I've done with my life, I'm self-taught. I have no credentials imposed on me by anyone else. I only have my credentials that I walk in with, that I've taught myself, and that has allowed me to change a few people's lives through the years. But
I guess also now you've done it for long enough.
But I've always been self-taught, and like whatever I've gone ahead and taught other people in terms of like me learning how to cook and doing like the F word thing, or me doing nutrition.
How
for
did
like
you get into the 42-day challenge thing? How did
So
it
I've been an
come about?
athlete like all my life. Since I could walk, I was running. So I've done pretty much anything athletic related. And I was working out as I always was when I met Torsam, and he was studying medicine, I was studying law. And we had a bit of a break, and we started training HIIT. HIIT had hit the world about 10 years before, just like most trends, by the time they come to us. And we started researching.
High intensity interval training.
Yes. Yeah, and because I was always a movement person and not a very gym person, he's more like he likes the gym and stuff. But for me, it's all about like dance, and I like yoga, martial arts, things like that. So I was already into that and athletics. So I enjoyed this kind of training a lot, and it was like a completely different goal for me to hit, because it was very, very disorienting, this kind of training, because of the oxygen deficit. Really trips you out. So that was really interesting for me, and I got involved in that, and then I taught myself through that. Then I taught myself nutrition with Torsam. So all the nutrition I've been doing for all these years. And we essentially fight disease. That's what we do. Torsam's a doctor. But I do all the nutrition. And through nutrition, we help you fight disease. And all of that, again, is self-taught. And then F-word, the cooking process, is also self-taught. We do all our own advertising. That's self-taught. So, like, I mean, you don't always need an institution
To like validate.
to validate you.
I understand, yeah.
A lot of institutions were made by people that had no validation, that then went ahead to validate other people.
Yeah.
So if you're creating your own medicine, that's what I call it.
Okay, maybe let's change the question. Somebody who wants to do fitness, what would you recommend they look up or read up?
First of all, do your own work. It's your own body,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
don't walk into a doctor's office without doing your own research. Doesn't mean that you have your own cure. Don't find your own cures on Google either.
Please don't.
But please study about if something is happening
Yeah.
to you, and you are the only person who knows yourself as much as you do, then please work on this yourself, and then go to someone who you think knows enough about what you need to know about.
Yeah.
So now if you're going in, say for yoga, okay, and you're not like going to become a yogi now in 1 month, right? You just need to be with someone who knows a lot more than you. You don't need to go to the world's best yogi. You need to be with someone who knows more than you. Then you need to know a little more than that. And then that's how people systematically learn more and go to better and better learning institutions. So, for example, when a lot of people are giving classes, they'll start initially with a diploma degree, where they get a certification that I'm a trainer. This diploma degree might take 3 days to get. It might be an open book test in terms of nutrition. This might take 1 month to get, right? But they're getting this diploma degree after a lot of personal practice. So they're getting this authorization. Then you'll see that same person practicing, working for a year, and now going for a 3-month diploma degree, because they've been able to save up, and so with time, even like when we look at our own personal industry, we'll see the same people having evolved so much in the past 10 years that what they knew 10 years ago, they know so much more now, but they were helping people then and they're helping people now because they always just need to know a little bit more.
I guess the crux of it all is get up and move
And learn
do your
about
research,
yourself.
listen to your body,
And let's
listen
not
to what it's
pretend-
saying.
Let's not pretend we're not in Karachi. We're in Karachi. We're in new, we're learning. We're all learning,
Yeah.
So if we're going to go to someone to learn, let's not pretend like this person knows so much more. It's all new.
And खुदा ना खास्ता कुछ अगर injury हो जाए, it's fine. हो
Yeah,
जाती हैं.
and fitness is a luxury in a society like ours. We have much larger problems, right? So fitness and health, when you're going to a gym and you're taking out 15,000 rupees from your salary or 10,000 rupees, that is a luxury. That's already a niche market,
Yeah.
right? So it's already a luxury thing because we don't have enough of that. Now you'll see like a lot of studios have opened out, a lot of little gyms have opened. So when it becomes a necessity, then you can expect different standards.
Achha, somebody messaged because I was like, do you have any questions? Somebody said, I am skinny fat. I was like, what does that even mean?
Oh,
He
that's
said,
a real
I'm
thing.
It's a definition that people give to themselves, that
What he
you're
said,
not big
Yeah.
in mass, but your body fat ratio is a little out.
the way he described it was, he said कि मैं पतला हूँ बस मेरा पेट है वो
Yeah,
कम
no.
नहीं हो रहा तो
वो
क्या
यही
करे वो?
problem है ना?
So you gotta enhance your muscle mass. That is going to help you burn the fat.
Yeah.
So muscle per pound burns about 4 times the amount of calories that fat per pound, but muscle takes up, like say 1 pound of muscle will take up this much space, fat will take up this much space. So if you try to work towards increasing your muscle mass and decreasing your body fat percentage, then you'll become lean, skinny.
So what's your take on steroids? There's a lot of like stigma around steroids.
There's now there's different kinds of steroids as science changes and technology brings us to different places. Now there's different kinds of steroids, and steroids are in a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like steroid-like things as well. Now we're not only talking about shooting steroids like we used to back in the day.
Technically, so for people who don't actually know what steroids are,
Yeah.
steroids don't help you build muscle. They help you with the recovery. Right?
Steroids essentially help you burn fat and build muscle at the same time.
Okay.
And that's why you don't want to do any of this, because that's completely unnatural. You should not be burning fat and building muscle at the same time. So, for example, if you're going in an
So
unnatural
you're
state,
You're saying anti-steroids. Are you?
of course,
Okay.
I'm anti anything that is induced in your body from a false source.
So okay. So there are also some kind of steroids, if I'm right, where you're not supposed to work the same muscle. For like, let's say if I work my bicep today,
We're
it'll need.
for everybody out there, we're talking about performance enhancing steroids. We're
Yes.
not talking about other steroids. There's lots of types
Yeah.
of steroids.
They're
also.
naturally occurring food steroids.
No,
type
no.
as
I
well,
mean,
right?
there's also used to cure diseases and things like that. There's a vast
Yeah.
array
Okay.
of steroids.
And then
We're
those steroids
talking-
have a lot of
We're
problems.
talking about fitness related,
Yeah.
Yes.
specifically performance enhancing.
So let's say
drugs.
if I do biceps today,
Yeah.
how much should I wait before hitting my bicep intensely again?
what is the rest
It
period?
depends on what your goal is.
Yeah.
And depends on where you are in
But,
terms of
like,
fitness.
Shouldn't
I
is
mean,
it there is a minimum
some people
period,
will wait,
right?
some people will wait a whole week to do like
Yeah.
an arm day
Like,
again.
yeah, but at the same time, like what? So exactly.
I'm hitting biceps every day.
Yeah, so for
Okay.
example, like what she's doing with her like HIIT like training and with 42, you do compound movements which allow you to use multiple muscles at the same time.
Yeah.
But for example, if you're doing a very
Focused.
localized training session where you're going really hard on
Yeah.
arms one day, you want to give it between 24 to 36 hours to
Yes.
kind of recover and get back. Because right now, for example, I can't move. I can't. Like, it's stuck there.
discussion.
So
Yeah.
I mean, hits.
not gonna do
sure, you
arms
can do
today.
every day, but
Like-
I was
Yeah.
talking about that. So what some athletes are doing is they're taking some steroids that reduce the recovery period, where you can hit it again very soon.
Honestly, this is not an area
Like
where
a
I
growth
know
hormone.
much. I don't know much.
I have no
Yeah.
idea what.
Yeah,
that
that's what I'm
means.
saying.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
much, so I
Okay.
can't speak about
Like an
it.
insulin-like growth hormone.
Yeah.
But what you're essentially saying is all of this you can do without.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
You can do without. I mean, people think you need protein powder. You don't even need protein
Yeah.
powder. You don't need anything.
I mean, the reason we recommend protein powder
It's
is
because
because it's chocolate.
Convenient.
And also
like,
because sometimes I
yeah.
don't want to eat X
Yeah.
amount of eggs and chicken and beef. I
Because you're
I
bored of
don't
that.
want. Yeah, you're bored.
And whey, for example, we recommend whey or casein or something like that.
Yeah.
That's an isolate. So whey in composition is very close to chicken. So in terms of our macro distribution, that's very easy for us to be like, okay, fine. So you have 24 grams of protein coming out of whey. That is very close in composition to chicken. So this is going to fit
Yeah.
into.
Whey is essentially the protein isolate that's taken out from milk,
Hmm.
a dairy, basically.
Yeah, we don't recommend it for recovery or like. You have to get her mother into this podcast.
So you know
Can
the
we
desi.
actually do? I think your mother would be
Oh my
great for the podcast.
goodness.
Yeah,
Oh
she'd-
my-
she'd-
oh
she'd
my
love to be
goodness.
a-
Yeah.
हमने की नहीं वैसे बात. I also
She-
क्या lifestyle trends क्या चल रहे हैं आजकल परिचय? Please.
Lifestyle trends.
I don't know what's in. This.
What's it? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Individuality is in.
Individuality.
Confidence is in.
I do have a plan of doing something. We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk offline. Get in touch. 42-day challenge. F
Yes.
word. Nusrat is there
Please get in
often.
touch with Parishae and myself. If you have any questions.
I redirect people to her. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
she
don't.
will just
I'm
systematically
honestly, I'm
redirect you
not
to
a
me.
trainer. Like, you know, you guys.
I learned that.
She is a trainer. Yeah.
But she is a trainer. She will train
Parisha
you.
is like Parisha is the best like person that I've had on my team. But then she doesn't have time for this anymore because she's doing all this other like important
मैं
world changing stuff.
ट्रेनिंग के अलावा मैं जिंदगी काफी इंस्पायर हो चुका हूँ परीक्षा से.
Yeah,
I'm like Parisha is so
yeah.
good at so many things. One day I was
Yeah.
like Parisha stand up करो and she's like it's not part of my 5-year plan. I was like मुझे ये नहीं पता मैं 5 दिन में क्या करूँ. She's like does this add she's
Value.
like,
Yeah,
she's
does
like
it
does
add
this
value?
add where I need to be. I was like इस तरह मैंने कभी नहीं सोचा. So now somebody's like you want to go to the beach. I'm like is it part of my 5-year plan?
I mean,
No, I'm exaggerating, but now I do. I do think does it help me get where I need to be
Yeah.
eventually?
like, damn, you know, I thought about it. I was like, one day, okay, like, I have two options, right? Either I live like, oh my God, I'm depressed because I might die tomorrow. Oh my God, crap, right? And that gives me anxiety. So instead of that, I'm just going to be like, okay, let's pretend I'm going to be alive for 5 years. And if I'm alive for 5 years, where do I see myself? End of story.
This is why I take my inspiration.
that's
from
that's
this
my
moment.
binary. You know, like I'm sorry there is not much gray area, but that's just how it is.
So yes, thank you so much for coming on, Nusrat and Parishae. This was a very very interesting
Thank you.
technical discussion on
I will be
fitness.
going straight to the bathroom.
Okay. TMI.
Parishae will be following me.
Yeah, I need to. We spoke about this in the car.
I know.
We're in the car.
This is why we
ये
were so
ये
mad
होता है
on
जब
our
आप
way here.
3-3 लीटर पानी पिए ना दिन में.
It's so true.
Yeah.
You are so true. If you're not
And-
peeing
and
at
feel
least
free
16
to
times a
let
day,
it
why?
out, guys, frequently. Don't
Another-
hold it in.
Another health tip. How much water should people drink a day?
4 liters we try to do.
Yeah, I do.
And
between
it's
2.2.
fine if somebody who is not drinking a lot starts from 4 liters tomorrow.
Yes, you could do.
Oh,
Your
why
body
not?
can handle that,
That's
but
fine.
you will feel very bloated and you pee-peeing like everyone.
Like
Let me
right
try
now,
and be
they
polite.
really need to pee.
Yeah, 2.5 liters start with. Take it up to 3 within the next week, and then
Yeah.
inshallah 4.
But have that threshold because it's hot in this country.
Again, get a cute.
Pakistan
And also,
experience.
guys, because if you're eating a lot of carbohydrates and you're feeling like inflammation and stuff, the more water you drink is just gonna like
Flush it out.
Yeah, release the inflammation, keep you nice and tight.
And you can get a really cute 2.2 liter bottle from the F word.
Yeah.
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 Plug. Thank you so much, Nusrat and Parishae. This was fun. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.